Welcome back to Hunter's Entertainment on Twitch.tv. My name is Noxweiler Burf, and tonight I'll be your game master and guide through a dark and challenging world of survival horror. We have a very, very special session for you tonight. We're edging up oh so close to the finale of this campaign. It's coming upon us very quickly. I'm not sure if everyone is prepared, but our fates have already been sealed. And all that we can do is to continue to walk down this dark path together. If you're unfamiliar with this game, allow me to illuminate you. We're going to walk through the shadows of the human spirit tonight, and we're going to face nightmares together. And if we're brave enough to look closely at this darkness, we may learn something about ourselves. This is a zombie survival simulation known as Outbreak Undead. And as you can imagine, this game is not for the faint of heart. I, as the game master, have already confirmed consent with each and every one of my players. Our lines and veils have been very carefully drawn, and we have safety protocols in place to assist and protect everyone at the table tonight. We ask you for your consent as well, and we encourage you to listen to the content warnings very, very closely. Read what our moderators are placing into the chat. While it is my goal to scare you, I would never want to hurt you. And while I am warning you, I also encourage you to stay with us and walk down some of the dark corridors that we have planned together. This game offers us all opportunities to explore dark themes and to shine a light on the human condition in the safe confines of our imagination, but that takes the bravery and support of every single person involved, you included. You see, dear friend, tonight, not every character at this table is being played with the same objectives and motivations. Some are working directly against one another and have made, through choices of their own and previous roleplay, some very definitive communications with dangerous outside forces. Anything could happen, and we should be prepared for that eventuality. This is the apocalypse, and survival is a day-to-day struggle. Food, water, and security, shelter, these are not things that are guaranteed. The dead now walk the world. The dead own what we have left behind. There are no magical swords to be discovered, no valiant knights or castle walls to hide behind. The dangers in this game wear a face that is very familiar. It is the face of a world that died long ago. It is the echo and last gasp of a civilization that was halted in its tracks by a horrible virus. Still, in the greatest darkness, hope burns the brightest. We want to show you that flicker of hope too. I would like to thank the entire Hunter's Entertainment team for continuing to support us, especially JB Jara and Alex Hillman. Without their steadfast work, this campaign simply wouldn't happen. Without them, our story, which is now over 52 sessions long, would have ended long, long before its time. Each of you in our growing community has helped to support us as well, and we're very thankful. Tonight, due to your generosity, the survivors are going to be given the opportunity to use additional competency points. These resources are going to be vital to everything that is about to happen. It may very well save their lives. So thank you for your support. If you wish to become more involved, you can find out everything that you need from our moderators. We also wish to introduce you to the Scry program provided by Foreteller. In the panels of Hunter's Entertainment right below, you're going to find everything that you need. In the coming weeks, should you join us on a regular basis, you're going to find that there is a custom-built application that is going to allow you to immediately engage with the communities of our apocalypse. You get to take on the role of a survivor and help to divert resources and goods to where you think they are most needed. Your choices, simply put, are going to make the difference between life and death to all of the various settlements within the Rag and Bone universe. You're going to be able to choose factions and affect a map of settlements directly through earned resources and influence. This minigame will affect our story. Much will change based on the decisions that you and your allies within chat make. Our tireless Undead moderators are currently here, and they're prepared to help you by answering any questions that you may have. Please support their efforts and show them the respect that they so richly deserve. If you enjoy this content, as always, we ask that you continue to make noise for us on social media. Help us to grow our numbers. You can find us here on Twitch, or you can also find us elsewhere throughout all the social media atmosphere. Let's bring more survivors into the fold and watch this world grow together. Enough of all of that, however. Allow me to introduce you to the players in tonight's little nightmare. Markia, welcome back. Would you like to tell everyone a little bit about what you do across the internet and a little bit about the character that you'll be playing tonight?
Hello, everyone. My name is Markia McCarty. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Markia McCarty. That's MarkiaMcCarty. Here on Twitch and TikTok, it's Darth Markia. Facebook is Markia TV. I am a voiceover actor, narrator, and host and interviewer. Since it's October, of course, I'm going to plug my show, Something Scary. If you go to youtube.com/snarled, all of October, we are doing all horror content and some specialty content as well. What we do is that we do fan-adapted horror videos. So we take stories from people from around the world, we animate it into a horror short, and we also have a podcast that has 3 to 4 additional stories. Along with that, we have guest storytellers this month, including TikTok sleepwalking sensation Selena Spooky Boo, and of course horror icon Tanana Reeve Dew, the executive producer of Horror Noir. So yeah, we have a lot going on over there. But if you want to see me do something otherwise than running and screaming for my life and taking headshots at Romero's, tomorrow night I will be on Hyper RPG. I'll be GMing for them. It's 2+U, and that'll be at 6 p.m. PT. So go ahead and check me out there tomorrow night.
Would you like to talk a little bit about Achira?
Thank you. That would probably be beneficial. So Achira Sampson, she is someone who has better luck hiding away from the world, but she is almost fatally attracted to people, in the sense that she always seems to be around people that end up betraying her in some way. She's with this this faction called the Enders, which with the Enders, it's like a trading route. I like to liken them to, if you watch The Walking Dead, to Rick's crew. I liken that to Enders, but it's like about as close as you can get. And also everybody wants to think that they're the good guy, So for Achira, she has not been the best person through this apocalypse. She has abandoned children for her own reasons. And she has abandoned a member of this group, actually. She came back later, but she did abandon him. And by that, I mean Luis's character, Lampwick, who is the closest thing that she has to a best friend in this world. However, this best friend, unbeknownst to her, is also someone that took the love of her life away as well. So that might be something that we discover sometime in this month. Who knows? But she is semi-catatonic right now after seeing a very dear friend pop out of a box as a Romero, like some sort of horrible gift. And that almost about broke her mind. And I'll be stepping in to that tonight.
We're very glad to have you, and you are certainly right about one thing. This apocalypse has very few heroes within it. Many choose what they need to do to survive. Melee, welcome. Would you like to talk a little bit about what you do across the internet and the character that you'll be playing tonight?
Sure. Hi there. I'm Melee Damage. You can find me on whatever social it is, / Melee Damage. I do different RPG games almost every day on a different channel. So do follow me on socials if you want to check out any of my other stuff, because that's just the easiest way to find all that out. I am a musician. I have a song that is out right now with a music video that is almost finished. And we've been doing a couple of short films and stuff like that that's coming out. So again, socials, follow me there. You'll find out all of that information. Tonight I will be playing Rowan, who is a lieutenant at the Citadel, which is a rough and tough kind of military group with a lot of guns and a lot of attitude. And yeah, she is very worried about what is going to happen when Achira comes out of the state that she is currently in and what is going to happen. Because Rowan feels a little bit guilty, but she doesn't, but she does, but she doesn't.
Rowan's very complex, and I'm excited to see how the situation resolves itself. Certainly, you're in the fire in more ways than one. We'll see how that resolves itself. Luis, welcome back. Would you like to talk to everyone about what you do across the internet and the character that you're going to be playing tonight?
Yes, indeed. Hi, everybody. I'm Luis Carrazzo. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LuisCarazo. Put that together and you will find me. I'm an actor, do some TV, some film, commercials, got a couple things that are out there that you might watch and see me in. And a couple things around the corner that'll be coming out. I also, on occasion, appear in other tabletop role-playing games, like LA by Night. If you watch that, I play Nines Rodriguez on that. And last weekend, or the weekend before that, I did something with Gehenna Gaming, where we did a Call of Cthulhu set in The Mummy, the 1999 film of The Mummy. That was kind of fun. You can find that. The video of that is out there on the internet. I play Lampwick. Lampwick, and just to sort of piggyback a little bit on what Markia was saying, Lampwick and Markia, in terms of people that you encounter in the apocalypse, kind of go way back-ish, because not a lot of people live for very long, so we kind of go way back, sort of. But in more recent times, they've gotten to know each other in a completely different way. And Lampwick, kind of the opposite of what Achira's history. Lampwick has a tendency to kind of be a lone wolf, but tends to find someone to have as a kind of companion, and that's happened throughout his history pre-apocalypse as a kind of survival tactic. He had a kind of rough life pre-apocalypse, took advantage of people. He was sort of a kind of an emotional Jedi in a sense, where he would be able to tap into someone's emptiness and kind of manipulate and manifest whatever the hole in their heart was, to manipulate them and get what he needed from them. But he didn't. That wasn't the way he was with everybody. There were some people that were actually human beings to him, and those people throughout his life often abandoned him. One in particular, a primary relationship in his history, abandoned him in a way that he didn't see coming. Flash forward to Achira's part in this story, and what Markia was talking about early on in our campaign. Achira took off. But one of the things that Lampwick has kind of latched onto was that she came back. And that had always left something, a lasting impact on Lampwick. But he's now with the Shepherds, was rag and bone with Achira, but now he's joined the Shepherds, which are like a kind of zombie-controlling cult. We thought they were definitely the bad guys from the get-go, but Lampwick talked his way into joining them and allowing them to bring him into their fold, but out of necessity, because he knew his life was on the line. But they have this way of talking to the Romeros and relating to them that has shifted the way he sees things. He's also kind of becoming one, maybe, sort of. But we'll see. Maybe by the end of this episode, he will be full Romero in his final form.
There is something happening with Lampwick. There's no doubting that. And Lampwick and Achira both are the two remaining survivors of the original cast of characters that we introduced to this campaign over a year ago. Miraculously, both of them have survived, but not without scars, both spiritually and physically. Lampwick has made some very, very serious choices and has seen that the world is very rarely black and white. The shepherds believe themselves to be doing something divinely supported, something that has been gifted to them. They are called to these actions, and they believe that Lampwick is a part of it, but they also have an interest in Achira, and have from the start. And now, we know so much more about why. Last, but certainly not least, the former three players have been portraying what are known as echoes. Echoes are individuals who survived the end of the world. They were alive and able to remember 1995. It's 25 years later. It's over that. These people remember the world the way it was, but there are characters and individuals that were born after the end of the world, after the apocalypse. Sarah, welcome back. You're going to be playing what we've referred to as wildlings or wild ones or wild children of the apocalypse. Would you like to talk a little bit about yourself, where you can be found on the internet, and a little bit about your character, Polly Pocket?
Absolutely. Hi, my name is Sarah. I go by Sarah is Coffee everywhere on the internet. You can find me there on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram. When I'm on Twitch, you can usually find me either on my own channel or over on the Welcome Inn, playing on our Friday game, Off the Rails. Or you can find me this Saturday premiering a new show on the channel Total Party Kiss, another horror RPG set D&D 5e called Strange Hungers, where I will be playing a Order of Scribes wizard who is an absolute bastard. I'm very excited. But here today, I am playing Polly Pocket, who is a wild child and has a seemingly unflappable personality to do with the horrors that are presented in front of her and what many would call a dangerous faith in people that she meets. Immediately latching onto Achira and trusting her through the nightmare and horror that is what is going on in the Pittsburgh Stadium. Her first time, presumably, in the city, and is currently in pretty dire straits physically. But we will see what happens.
We will indeed. Thank you again for being with us. With all of this said, the final member of all of this is you. We require your support. Please get involved in the scry below. You'll find many tasks that need to be completed. If they are not completed, then we'll see what happens. The road is long and it's getting dark. We should get moving. The world ended on Monday, May 29th, 1995. Sky fell, and the dead would not die. Civilization quickly collapsed, and the sickness spread like lightning to even the most remote reaches of the world. They called it many things, but it started out simply as another round of the flu. It became something far worse. H195, commonly known as the Legacy or the Reaper's Kiss. As the dead seemed to become even more infectious after they passed away. At first, it seemed as if no one was immune to the airborne strain, but eventually it appeared that 0.01% of the population had a natural immunity. However, even those lucky souls couldn't withstand a concentrated introduction of the virus. Through a bite, or a deep scratch, or blood-on-blood contact. The end of days were like wildfire, and throughout the world, people sought security and sanctuary where none was to be had. Entire cities burned to the ground, but miraculously, some survived. And for the next 25 years, life has struggled forward. The world now is a fractured place, but some seek to make civilization anew. Rag and bone merchants work their trade throughout what was once the Midwestern United States and beyond, bringing food, water, medical supplies, and information to those who need it most. The Ender's Line is one such group. They use old railway tracks to connect all of the scattered outposts and settlements together. Their grit and determination save lives. They are willing to risk themselves in the wild places, overrun with the dead. They do much for all who suffer within this apocalyptic terrain. They are a lifeline in a world that now belongs entirely to the dead. Polly. In the present moment, blood erupts from your mouth. You're lying on the cold concrete ground. The dead are piled around you, desiccated corpses from years and years ago. These people, the ones that have trapped you here, that brought you captive with a burlap sack over your head. These people have built the stadium into a death trap. You know you're inside of the city, the Iron Pin. The echoes call it Pittsburgh. No one comes here. None of your allies, none of your friends, none of your family ever travel here. You are a wild child, a wildling. You make your survival through the networks that exist, hidden in the wild places of the world. Each of you work within networks together to provide each other with the support that you need to live. These echoes, the ones that remember the world the way it was, they can't accept the truth. Their world is dead. This is your world now. Thoughts are flashing through your mind, memories, as you continue to cough blood up. Faith stands over you. She's cut an incision in your chest and inserted the sterilized plastic straw. Blood is pumping out of it, and you feel as if your chest is collapsing on you, as if someone has taken their boot and held you down by it. Your life is ebbing, slipping away. Everything is going dark. You see Achira in the corner, curled about, holding her knees, whispering names over and over again. Zippy is holding your hand tight, the only one that understands you, that knows you. Rowan holding her rifle, turns towards you, and you meet eyes with her. There's something there, an understanding. Maybe not sympathy, but certainly an understanding of what a wound like what you have means. She's supporting and protecting you. She's also wild in her own way. There's a sound somewhere down that hallway. And as you lie there, coughing up blood, everything goes dark. When you open your eyes, you're in a memory so long ago. Must have been months. You're looking at Skittles' face. Their brightly colored hair, their big eyes, smiling, leading you forward through the woods. You're cold. Autumn has already come. And the woods here always get cold. But neither of you have decided to light a fire. You don't carry a torch or any light at all with you. You know how to use the light of the moon to travel. You follow the stars. And both of you are carefree. You're moving through the woods together. Somewhere behind you, Mondo lumbers after you, much slower than the other two of you. Your family is here. Zippy is scouting ahead, always the quickest of any of you. You know that they will signal the sound of an owl, should anything be seen. But it shouldn't be much further. You're almost where you need to be. You hear Zippy's signal. Hoo! Hoo! Immediately, Skittles skids to a stop and looks to you. For sure. You and the others begin creeping forward. And then you see it. All the tiger pits that you dug. The holes stretch out within this section of the woods. It took you days. The strange man in black that hired you all to do this offered trade. It was entire boxes of strange, sealed, packaged jerky that had been brought here. You don't know where they got it, but it's delicious. And you and your family are going to be able to take care of yourselves for quite some time. You're just going to have to get these boxes back to your lair. It won't be long now. There's a rustling noise and Zippy emerges. Another member of your family is there. Rains. Rains is always filthy. Wilder than any of you. Covered in dirt and grime. They're gender fluid and their face is so dirty that you can barely even see their skin underneath, but their eyes are bright and wide. Rains smiles to you, a shock of blue hair that pours out in every direction. They creep closer.
Hey, Rains.
Hey, we can head back to the crib real soon. We just gotta make sure that, well, he hired me to do more. They said they were gonna pay us. Give us what we deserve.
What did he hire you to do? Like, what do we need to do to get it?
There's a man by the fire. I just had to lead him in. Bring him here to this place. It was easy. He listened to me. Shh! They're coming! Get down!
Drops to the ground. Confused, but...
Rains is next to you and you can hear their breath, and they're panting heavily.
This
You
is
see-
weird.
You see a highly polished, beautiful carriage pull itself into the clearing. It's made of black wood, and the horses are strange. They're completely silent and they're wrapped in bandages. Completely wrapped in cloth, and every inch of their flesh is covered. They pull this carriage forward, and that's when you hear the shouting from one of the pits that you and the others had dug. And then it goes quiet. What do you do, Polly?
Can I try to get forward to get a look inside this pit and see what's going on?
You could get closer, but if you wish to see, there are multiple pits, but the one that the
Right.
sounds were coming out of, it sounded like someone got hurt, but then it cut off really quickly. It was like a woman screaming. But if you get closer to that pit, you're going to be out in the open. Do you want to go out into the open and be seen?
Definitely not by whatever this carriage is. I'm gonna look to Rains first and ask, are these the people that you talked to in that?
For sure, they're solid. They paid us. They'll pay us again. Skittles is anxiously crawling a little closer and pulls out a knife and is holding the knife just close.
Be careful.
Can we trust them?
Good question. I'm gonna go check it out. And Polly, ever the not necessarily great at self-preservation, is going to try to creep closer to the carriage, not the pits.
You feel Skittles' hand on your arm. Stay hidden until we know that it's a problem, you know?
I mean, they hired us. Why would we hide from them, right?
Yeah, I don't trust them. That man in black was weird.
Right. Won't do it.
See if there's anything you can steal from that carriage.
Here, you don't want me going forward.
No, I mean, do it carefully, like they be for sure, but just be careful, you know? Don't get real gnarly about it. Just go in and be careful.
And she will creep forward to try to peek into the carriage, see if there's anything she can take.
Amazing. I would love for you to make for me first a spot listen,
Sure thing.
and then a stealth. There are no dice of difficulty added to this. You have 1 degree of failure on your spot listen. Would you like to use either the group competency or your own competency to correct this?
I think I'm okay. I'm gonna stay with the failure.
You move forward, completely unaware of anything that's happening in front of you other than the fact that this carriage has come to a stop and these pits have someone inside of them. Go ahead and make your stealth roll now, please. Also, no dice of difficulty will be added to this roll. You creep forward, moving from tree to tree in the overbrush. You're used to being out here in the woods, and you're careful. However, you have 3 degrees of failure on your stealth. Would you like to keep those 3 degrees of failure?
I think I only have on my own 2 competency points left. Maybe only 1.
This is a new session. Your competency have been fully rejuvenated.
All right. I'll use 3 just to make it a wash.
Making it a wash is still a failure. Do you wish for it to be a failure? Because if it is a failure at a wash, it won't necessarily draw any attention directly to you, but someone may be alerted to the fact that there is a noise somewhere. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. Sure. I'll use 4 to make it a success.
Would you like to use one of your own or one of the group competency?
I will use... We have 2 points of group competency, correct?
You currently have 2 in the group pool, I believe.
1. Okay.
So there is only 1 competency in the group pool currently.
Got it. I will just use mine for now. We don't know how that's going to be needed.
So with 1 degree of success, you are quiet, but there is some rustling, a few sticks break. It isn't perfect. You've moved down the hill, and it's fairly steep. You slide to a stop behind a tree near the carriage, and now you hear things. It's been only a few minutes, but you see these large, lumbering people, men with burlap sacks on their head, pulling something or someone out of the pit where the sounds were coming from. And there are 2 figures that are illuminated by torches. There's a beautiful Latinx woman. She's dirty and covered in blood. There's something so familiar about her to you, but you can't place it. You don't know why. It's as if you've seen her face before, in a dream. She's wearing clothing that is brightly colored and interesting to you, but she's nearly unconscious and she's wounded, bleeding from the side. It looks like she was hurt by the pit that you and your family helped to dig. You didn't know that these pits were necessarily going to be used for people. You only know that this is what the man in black wanted you to do. There are other people in black robes now, dressed the same. They're very clean. They're clearly echoes. Or they look like echoes to you. There's the fire of a number of torches in a circle. This beautiful black carriage is blocking some of your view, but you're able to reposition yourself just enough. I'd like for you to make a spot listen check. No degrees of difficulty are added here.
One degree of success.
There's a bearded man. He's also freshly dirty, covered in blood. But you see his face, and he's looking up at who must be the leader of these people in black, standing now before him. You hear what he's saying. It sounds like he's praying. He's raising his hands up as if he's accepting some divine gift. He's crying. He's on his knees. And this thin man in black robes places his hand on his forehead. What would you like to do, Polly?
I am behind the carriage right now, correct? So my vision is a little obscured.
Just a little, yeah. It's hard to see everything, and the fire from the torches It's casting sharp light across this whole scene.
Well, this scene is sufficiently very strange, but not what I came here to do. So I'm going to see if I can get into the carriage.
You crawl forward quietly. Make another stealth check. You have 1 degree of failure. Do you wish to allow that degree of failure to ride? To be clear, this doesn't necessarily mean that everyone will be alerted to your presence.
Mm-hmm.
It means that perhaps one person will be alerted to the fact that there is a noise somewhere behind them.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna let this one ride.
You're crawling forward. And a stick breaks under your hand. The snap rings out around you, and you lay low on the ground, waiting to see if anyone notices. No one moves. Now, from under the carriage, you see what is happening. Something else has happened. The tall, thin man. He's given the bearded man that was pulled from the pit a machete. He's holding it, looking at it, and then he looks over at the beautiful woman next to him. Her eyes open, and the two of you make eye contact together. The woman from the pit sees you as she opens her eyes underneath the carriage. And then she looks up. What would you like to do, Polly?
I think Polly completely freezes, does not understand the situation, and someone has just spotted her. And so she freezes under the carriage, kind of deer in the headlights, staring at this woman, hoping that she doesn't give her away.
The woman looks up, and you think she's going to say something, but she doesn't. She doesn't have time. The machete drops down on her neck, and her head is removed from her body. The bearded man has just killed her. Her head rolls and drops closer to you. And there's a sadness and a fear in that face as the blood drains from it and it becomes oh so pale. Her mouth is slack. And the last thing that you see clearly before you black out in fear are her earrings. A pretty little star, blue and purple plastic. It's a bangle. And then your eyes open once more, and you're looking at Achira, curled in the corner, wearing that bangled earring. You can breathe again. You're alive. You're badly, badly wounded. Faith looks at you. It's all right. I think I've got you. I'm gonna need to stitch this up, so don't move too much, okay?
Yeah. Polly just stares over at Achira, almost disbelieving that it's been very stressful, but disbelieving that she didn't see this detail before, that this didn't jog that memory for her, and just stares.
You don't know how you missed it, but you've been frightened and on the run since that burlap sack was taken off of your head in the middle of the stadium. Simple things often get overlooked. Rowan, make a spot listen check for me, please, as you've been watching, standing guard as the others are huddled in this hallway, covered with corpses. It is a concrete tunnel within what was once known as Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh, now known as the Iron Pin. This is the Shepherd's domain, and they have created a devious and horrible labyrinth for all of you. You have been surviving only by your own wits and your determination as you have been crossing through closed gates, being led to some unknown fate. Rowan, you were suspended in a cage above a fire. Others had the keys to release you. This is a game to them. You're in the darkness now. There is a torch burning, but there's very little other light. Rowan, you have 2 degrees of success on your spot listen, and you hear footsteps coming from the darkened hallway. What would you like to do?
She'll move back over towards the group where Faith is. Faith, there's footsteps. Someone's coming. I don't know if they're alive or dead. Either way, I don't like the sound of this. Keep your eyes open. And she'll take aim.
I don't know if I can move her. She's barely hanging on right now. I mean, we might be able to go somewhere here, Rowan, but honestly, I don't know. We either fight or we leave her. And she looks at you somewhat apologetically, Polly, as she looks down.
No, I get it.
Zippy grabs your arm. Well, I'm not leaving. I'm staying with her.
Yeah, that's half the squad. So, might as well stay and fight.
Achira, you hear voices. You have been repeating some very important names to you. Would you repeat them for us right now?
Chira's been huddled and over, loudly and then softly, she's been chanting, Marcus, Amanda, Nora, Omar, Baby Faith, Marcus, Amanda, Nora, Omar, Baby Faith, Marcus, Amanda, Nora, Omar, Baby Faith, Baby Faith.
Before you even know it, you feel a hand on your face, raising it towards her eyes. You see Faith has grabbed you. Achira, I need you to stay together. Stick with me. Come on.
That was Juniper. That was June.
She's dead now.
She wasn't when we left her. She had a chance. And all I can think is that these zealots got her and took that away. And for what? To do what? To make a point, some weird point that makes sense to them and no one else. She had a chance. So many who were born into this world are dying before they have a chance to really live. And it's not fair. Because and I think that's our fault. Because what do they have to grow up on? They have Cheers and Fresh Prince. They don't know what the real world is. They grow up in some fantasy and
I don't live in a fantasy. This is real. You have to get it together. We need you. You're good at what you do, god damn it. Now get up, get your gun, and keep moving. I'm not abandoning you the way you abandoned me. Now stand up.
You asshole.
She stands up and she walks over. She's pissed. Rowan, you watch as Faith starts kind of trembling and holds her gun and just sort of is holding it in the darkness beyond towards where you were motioning.
Rowan would like to kind of guide everybody that is still standing and can shoot into formation.
Achira, do you join the formation?
Achira gets up, kind of shooting daggers into Faith's back. Grabs her, I guess, a long gun, because I believe the pistol was taken.
Mm-hmm.
So grabs the long gun and gets in formation.
Rowan, it's your formation. Would you like to describe it?
Rowan would try to position them in between Polly and some of the more hurt members of the group and wherever the sound that she heard was coming from, like kind of like half encircling them, like keeping an eye out so that no matter which direction they're going to try and attack from, we've got them covered.
You've got a 7-month pregnant woman with a gun in this formation with you, as Camilla is still with you in your group. You've got a very badly wounded wildling lying on the ground, and then Zippy, who is not armed at this moment with anything. The melee weapons that they were using are scattered about them, and they're kneeled down in a pool of Polly Pocket's blood. However, Polly, you have survived. You are very grievously wounded. You will move very slowly. Everything you do will be difficult and painful, but there is hope. What would you like to do?
How much? I'm in a lot of pain right now. Correct?
An immense, unbelievable amount of pain that works its way through your chest and down to your fingertips and the tips of your toes. Everything hurts.
I'm gonna clench a fist, just kind of against this. Look up at Zippy and say, you think you can shoot?
For sure, yeah. I'll shoot.
Hand Zippy Achira's gun.
You know that Zippy isn't the best shot, but she's certainly better than you are at this moment. She helps you just barely sit up and protectively stands over you, pointing the gun, joining in to the formation with the rest of you. In the darkness, you hear the footsteps approach, and in the firelight that flickers through this concrete tube, this tunnel, the faded paint from the world beyond, bright colors, yellow stripes, a green parrot that is almost indistinguishable from the dirt and grime here, emblazoned on one of the walls, a surly-looking pirate shouting outward. Corpses. So many desiccated corpses stacked like cordwood here. Debris and trash. And in the middle of it all, stepping out of the fire, where you see that flickering of light play itself in long shadows. 3 figures emerge. One being carried by a man. Lampwick. You. Sister Hook. And your new daughter. Step through a corridor You hear whispering and talking at first, and then it becomes clear. You've been led here. You see your companions. You see Achira, you see Rowan. You see the others. They have weapons pointed towards you. And you can only imagine what they think of Sister Hook. And this small child, this girl that is wrapped and curled around your neck, holding on to you lovingly, as your new family meets your old. What is your intention?
I'm carefully step forward, and as soon as I recognize those that I know, I'm carrying the young girl with one arm, and with my other arm, I just raise it. And I say, "It's just me, it's Lampwick. Please. It's just us."
There's a mark on his hand. It's familiar to some of you. The shepherds sometimes bear marks like that. He looks thin, pale, like he's lost 10 pounds since you saw him last. His cheeks are sallow. His eyes are sunken, darker than they were. But he seems clean.
Lampwood?
I start to step forward.
Rowan?
Rowan moves her hand to the trigger, and she goes, that's a little too close for comfort here.
Okay, I'm gonna put down the girl, and I'm gonna say to her, I'm gonna need you to stay off to the side with Sister Hook. I need to approach and have a conversation with my friends. I want to make sure that we're all safe.
Adelaide's eyes meet yours. Everyone hears very clearly a soft, clarion voice. Okay, Daddy. Sister Hook puts her arm around the child as the girl hugs on to this woman's leg. She looks wrinkled and strange. She's holding herself in a unnatural way. Something about her is unsettling to all of you. You can't really see in the firelight quite yet, but her skin is sagging horribly.
Both my hands go up. We don't have much time. Can I please approach? I have to talk to you all.
Rowan, what are you doing as Lampwick?
Faith chimes in. I don't know that I'd disagree.
Is this the person from my memory?
Make a spot listen check. You have 3 black dice of difficulty.
Okay.
One degree of failure. Do you wish to ride that out?
Mm-hmm.
You're too weak. It's too dark. You just see a figure. You hear a voice. That's all.
Rowan looks at a chair and just goes, I know it's Lampwick, but right now he looks like he's got probably some of the worst Stockholm Syndrome I've ever seen, so I don't know how I trust this situation, Achira. I'm just being safe.
Lampwick,
Achira.
you're still you, right? And don't bullshit me. You know,
I'm not.
know not to do that.
I know. I am still me. Enough. But I think I'm running out of time, so I really need to talk to you. Please, just let me get close enough to talk to you. I have something for you. I have something for all of you. I take a step forward. I'm going to start walking just ever so slowly.
Do you allow it, Rowan?
If he moves very slow and very cautious with enough time that Rowan can kind of like scope him out and like check out what if he's got a bomb strapped to him or something, then yeah, she'll allow it. But if he moves too fast, she might take a shot at it, like his feet or something, and keep him back.
Make a spot listen check, please, Rowan. Also, let's have Polly make another spot listen check as well. 2 black dice of difficulty.
Can I try a detect motives with Lampwick?
You certainly can. It's a little trickier when we're dealing with players, but go ahead and make a detect motives, and maybe there's something that we can share as a group. Polly, you have 3 degrees of failure. A flash of pain works its way through you. Rowan is standing in front of you all. You don't have a clear view of this figure. However, Rowan, yes, with 3 degrees of success, you're able to see that there's no bomb strapped to Lampwick. He seems to be, for the most part, unarmed. Lampwick, do you have any weapons on you?
I do. I do have a Citadel sword, and I have a pistol, and like a satchel.
Rowan, you are a trained military personnel. You know all of this. There could be anything in the satchel. You know where the pistol is, and you know where the sword is.
She will call all of those things out to everyone that is in the formation, let them know where those items are located, and probably tell Achira to be aware of whatever's in the satchel.
If you need me to approach unarmed or with my weapons in clear view, I'm happy to hand them over to you. This isn't the kind of... we just don't have time for this. I'll do whatever it takes so that you feel safe with me, but I'm still me.
You put me in a cage over a fire. You have to understand why we're a little uneasy.
I did not do that.
What?
I didn't
Lampwick?
put you in a cage. No, I didn't do that. Was I there? Did you see me do that?
Maybe you should think about what some of your compatriots are up to.
I've been thinking a lot about that. But just like you're not responsible for everything the Citadel does, like Riggs, I'm absolutely not responsible for everything that the Shepherds do. But I'm not here to do that. I'm not here to blame anybody for anything that they haven't done. I'm here to help. And I have something that you need to see. I need to show you something. And I take another step forward.
Rowan will relax a tiny little bit when he makes the point about how she's not responsible for what Riggs does. And she'll see that as fair. And she will probably loosen up a little bit and flag him forward.
And
Faith also follows your lead, although you can tell it's more out of habit. But she also follows your lead and loosens up her stance and brings her pistol down slightly, although she could at a moment's notice throw it back up and put a bullet straight through Lampwick's head.
as I start to step forward, I turn back and I call out to Sister Hook and Adelaide. Sister Hook, Adelaide, see, there's nothing to fear. There's nothing to worry about. Everything is fine. And then I step forward and approach. You're all okay? Everyone's... I'm sorry, I don't know. And I'm turning to those that Polly and anyone I don't recognize. I'm friends of theirs.
Immediately, there's no need to make any checks at this point, Polly. You have a full view of the man, and while he is thin and more haggard than what you remembered seeing, there is no mistaking his face. It's the man, the bearded man from the pit.
Polly suppresses a shriek and, even injured, starts back a little bit.
Make
No,
a
we're
detect
not
motive.
okay.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Lampwick, do make a detect motive, but Hachira, please continue what you were saying.
No, we're not. Okay, Lampwick. The shepherds. Your people. They put Juniper in a box. She's a Romero. When we left her, she was alive, Lampwick. We are not okay. They did that. Your people did that, Lampwick.
You're my people, too. I had nothing to do with that. I'm here to help.
Did you know about it?
I didn't know about it. I didn't know about it. I need to talk to you right now. I need to talk to you right now. I'm going to get closer.
Before you do. Hachira, you have 2 degrees of failure on your detect motives for Lampwick. Did you want to do anything about that?
No, I think that pretty much tracks when it comes to her trusting Lampwick.
Lampwick, you have 3 degrees of detect motives, or 3 degrees of failure on your detect motives check. Would you like to do anything about that?
I think that this makes sense. I want to see how that plays out.
Rowan and Polly, what are your intentions as these two start getting closer and closer to one another?
Does Rowan see Polly? Like, is there enough light for her to see Polly, like, kind of like wince and freak out when she sees Lampwick?
Make a detect motives check, but I'm going to have you add 1 black die of difficulty simply because of the tenseness of the situation and where your focus is. Polly, what is your intention while this roll is being made?
As Lampwick tries to step closer, Polly is going to say, "Don't come any closer."
I'll stop.
Zippy looks to you.
We've seen him. I know you.
I'm sure. Look, we really don't have time. We really don't have time. I have something I need to give you, Rowan. You watch my hands. You can watch what I'm going.
What is it, Polly? Who is this man? Did he hurt you?
I'm reaching into my satchel.
As you reach into your satchel, Polly just says, "He's a murderer."
Zippy points the gun at you.
I stop. Achira, Rowan, Faith. Camila, come on.
Hold fire.
They know me. And we don't have time.
It wasn't a Romero, it was a woman.
I'm not your soldier. What do you want me to do, Polly?
What?
I'm going to start to back away, and I'm going to walk towards Rowan. Rowan. This can't go down like this, Rowan.
I'm not trying to, man. I told her not to fire, but she seemed pretty intent on it, so I would be quick if I were you, because I can't control the wild ones. She's right, she's not my soldier.
If I need to be held accountable for something, then there's a time and place for that, but right now is not the time and place for it. Achira, I have something for you. I have something that the shepherds have given me that I think will tell us everything we need to know about what it is that they are after with you.
Wait, what they want from me?
They want something from you, yes.
You know what they want from me?
I don't know for sure, but I have...
They've been hunting me for almost a year.
Right, I know. And I just need you to stay with me because... And I'm going to reach into my satchel again. In here, there's a notebook.
Polly, what is your intention?
As he reaches into his satchel, Polly is going to look to Zippy and say, "Shoot him."
Zippy pulls the trigger. We're going to take a short break. Welcome back, friends. This is Hunter's Entertainment on Twitch.tv. I am your game master tonight for Outbreak, Undead, Rag and Bone. Our characters are facing off in a very tense situation. In the middle of what was once known as Three Rivers Stadium, in the city now known as the Iron Pin, a deadly trap has been sprung. Friends, allies, have been turned against each other. A frightened-looking wild one holds an old .38 revolver. Polly says,
"Shoot him."
and she pulls the trigger. Lampwick, hand in the satchel, is the target. Rowan, Achira, all of you are present, along with Faith, a former soldier of the Citadel, and Camilla, wounded but very pregnant, standing there as well, armed. Across the way, two of the shepherds, a small child and a strange-looking woman, watch from the darkness. The shot rings out, echoing against the concrete of this place. I've rolled a 19.
Oh.
It's 2 degrees of success. Guns were pointed at you, Lampwick. You realized how tense the situation was. You had failed your detect motives. You were intently watching Achira. I'm going to allow a single roll. You can't really dodge bullets. It's not how this works. But I'm going to give you an opportunity to lessen the amount of damage I'm about to inflict upon Lampwick with this roll. If you would like, I will allow you to make a dodge. You will not avoid the bullet no matter how well you roll, but you will be able to lessen the damage that you're going to take as the scared, wild one pulls the trigger. You hear what she says, and then you hear the pull, which allows you to react.
Since I'm not dodging, can I instead roll a resist pain?
You may, if you choose to, take the damage and resist damage through resist pain. What is your current viral?
I have 4 boxes ticked.
I would like for you to then make your resist pain. There are no dice of difficulty to this roll. But from this point forward, everyone should roll a speed die along with their regular die. And for this action, I will roll a blue die for you. It is a 2. You have 3 degrees of failure on your resist pain.
I'm going to use some competency points.
How many competency would you like to spend?
I'm going to spend 4 of my own, and I'm going to take 1 from the community.
4 of your own and 1 from the communal pool. Meaning this is 2 degrees of success.
Yes.
This will reduce the damage, but it will not prevent it. Put a 5 and a 1 onto your damage track.
Am I still wearing the body armor that I was wearing before?
You are, as we have determined, so you ignore the 1. You only have a 5 that goes onto your damage track, and the bullet grazes your shoulder. You feel a hot gush of blood and a burning sensation, but it does not strike you center mass. Zippy has just barely hit you. I need everyone's intentions now, and I need blue speed dice to be rolled along with those requested checks so that we can keep track of initiative order. We'll start with you, Achira. What is your intention in this moment as this happens?
Achira does not know Zippy at all. Achira knows that Zippy just fired at her friend, and nothing was really said about why. So Achira is going to draw on Zippy. And fire.
I'd like for you to make your long rifle check. I would like for you to roll a single blue die because you already had your weapon at the ready. You were in a formation, so with 1 blue speed die, you can make a long rifle check. There are no dice of difficulty added to that roll. I'm going to go around and collect the rest of the intentions. Rowan, what would you like to do in this action?
You cut out there. Did you say Rowan?
Rowan, what would you like to do in this action?
Rowan is going to immediately jump into the position between where the wild ones are and where Lampwick is. She's going to put herself in between the gunfire and Lampwick because she wants to hear what he says, and she has always kind of liked Lampwick. She doesn't really know how to trust him or know how she really feels about, but she likes him. She didn't want to see him get shot in the face, so she's going to try and protect him a little bit.
All right. If you're putting yourself in harm's way, I'm not going to make you roll anything other than a spot listen, but I would like for you to roll a single blue die for your speed. All right. Lampwick, what is your intention in this moment?
The last thing I want is for this to escalate. So I'm going to try to calm everybody down. I'm going to try to... my hands go up, and I'm going to say, it's okay, everybody. Please just stay calm. Please. And I'm trying to keep the peace and stop this from escalating any further.
Are you trying to calm other?
I'm trying to calm other or coax them into standing down.
Make a calm other check for me. Roll a single blue die for your speed. You have no dice of difficulty that you need to add to this roll. Polly, you're restricted by your wound, but you do have an intention that you can fulfill this action. What would you like to do?
I think Polly is going to, seeing Zippy take this shot, and seeing the immediate jump to action that everyone does, is going to try to reach up and pull Zippy down to her. She's already injured. She'd rather take the damage than have Zippy take it.
Make a lift pull.
Mm-hmm.
There are no dice of difficulty, but I do want you to roll 1 blue speed die. It's very important, the speed die. All right. Let's start at the top. Camilla and Faith, first of all, are holding their shot. They have it still trained near Lampwick, but they're not sure what to do at this moment. They look to the rest of you. Achira, you have 4 degrees of failure and a speed of 1, so you will be going in the first round of action. This is going to happen simultaneously with with just Rowan. So Rowan steps in front of Lampwick, but you, Achira, take a shot at Zippy. You have 4 degrees of failure. Do you wish to alter that?
Yes, I'm actually really glad that this came out like this. I'm going to use 2 competency points to bring it down to 2 degrees of failure.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the emotion in the moment and the fact that Achira really doesn't want to kill another wild child, I'm going to think that this is more of a scare tactic kind of a deal, where it's like shooting towards, like maybe hitting the ground in front of Zippy kind of a deal, to be like, that's that shot. Here's where the next one can go. A forceful put that down.
With 2 degrees of failure, I feel like you're correct, you do miss. I don't feel like you hit anyone else because it wasn't catastrophic. You've lowered the intensity of the failure enough that I don't feel like it's going to go to someone else who didn't deserve to be shot, or wasn't your intended target, rather. I do think, however, that rather than hitting the ground in a warning manner, it does whiz past Zippy's head. And while Zippy wasn't hit, it was a shot that could have killed them. Does that sound fair to you, Achira?
That sounds perfect. I also think that with movement, still technically in formation, I think Achira has angled her body towards the party and has more of her back towards Lampwick with that move.
All right.
If that makes sense.
It does. Rowan, you step in front of Lampwick. You have 2 degrees of failure on your spot. Listen, do you wish to make any adjustments to that failure?
100%. I'm going to use 3 competency of my own to make that 1 degree of success.
With 1 degree of success, you hear a very soft, high-pitched noise. It seems to be rumbling through the air. It's very faint. It sounds strange, almost like a keening. Some sort of sustained scream twisted in the air, but it's so soft, so subtle you almost missed it. And you turn and you're blocking Lampwick. But it's coming from behind you.
Does that mean that it's also coming from behind Lampwick? If I'm in front of him and my back is to him?
You believe that it's coming from behind Lampwick.
Okay. And it sounds more like an ethereal screaming than it does like a mechanical high-pitched noise.
It doesn't sound mechanical at all. In fact, it's disorienting how hard it is to focus on. so faint in the background. It's almost as if you're hearing ringing in your ears. And as a soldier, that happens to you from time to time. But it's not the same sound. It's like there's something else there. A different tone, one that you've not heard before.
She will ask Lampwick, do you hear that?
Do I hear that?
High-pitched thing.
You hear nothing, Lampwick.
I kind of make a somewhat confused, a kind of moment of confusion passes through me, but then I kind of get right back on track to trying to like.
You're still trying to calm others. So if you wish to continue trying to speak with everybody, you may. It is now your action. If you want to change your intention, you may, but you're operating now, Lampwick. Do you continue to do that, or do you search for the sound of this noise?
I think I'm so intent on making sure that this doesn't go, erupt, that if I don't hear it readily, I'm going to keep including. I've entered this space knowing that the people that I arrived with are also people that I need to make sure stay at a certain level. So I'm to the entire group. I'm begging you all, please just give us some time. This doesn't need to become anything violent. Just give me a chance. I just need a few minutes to talk, please. And I'm turning to look at Sister Hook and Adelaide's as well, including everybody.
You have 1 degree of success on your call mother, which immediately becomes 4 degrees of success. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Everyone needs to make a composure check.
Including me?
You do not.
We get something from being in formation, correct?
That is correct. So you have a 2 times modifier on your roll. You can re-roll that, Rowan.
Go ahead.
Also, I have to ask.
It is not a location hazard.
Okay.
In my stats, I have the total, and then there is an advance. Does that factor in any way? Or ADV? I don't know what that means.
Go ahead and make your composure roll, but you're going to add a 2 times modifier to it, and that is going to give you the result that we're going to need to be able to resolve this. You do have some other abilities, though, that we should probably be aware of moving forward.
Got it.
You have 1 degree of success. You're fine. There's a few things to talk about here, because Rowan, you failed with 1 degree of failure. Polly, you have succeeded with 1 degree of success, which is enough. Achira, you have catastrophically failed with 5 degrees of failure on your composure right now, but given your morale, that makes an awful lot of sense right now. But how many competency points do you have remaining?
I have enough to make this not be a horrible failure. Like right now, because of how generous chat was, and because of some things in my stats, I do have 8 competency points left that I will be parsing out very, very slowly, depending. I would like to do 2 of them so I don't completely break down right now.
With 2 competency, you're able to bring this down to a more regulated failure. Lampwick's words echo out, but you are dazed. It's still hard for you to focus. I think it's fair to say that while Lampwick's words are heard by you, and you pause for a moment, you're still on the verge of panic. So Lampwick is successful. Rowan, you do actually succeed. Since you have rolled a 42, the dice of difficulty were not present for that roll. So when you roll, if you have previously set dice of difficulty and you do not remove them, they will continue to roll for you. So be sure to remove those from roll 20 before you use them again. But with a 42, it is a success, which means that you also pass your composure along with Polly Pocket. You don't react. Lampwick's words come to you because of the formation effectively. All of you are able to calm down for just a moment.
I will say that I've used one of my own competency and one of the communal.
Very well. And then how many communal are currently present within the pool?
With the
There's
one
one
that
left.
I've used, then yeah.
There's one left then. All right. They are there to be used, and I can think of no better use for them than this situation.
To not shoot everybody? Yeah.
Lampwick, you look back, as you had said that you were doing, as you speak, trying to calm everyone present down. Sister Hook stands there in the shadows, her face concealed by the darkness outside of the light of the fire. Adelaide, however, is looking to you, looking past you. Her eyes are bright, angry, piercing, staring past you towards Zippy. Her arms are slack to her side, and her head is tilted as she stares. Sister Hook has one hand on her shoulder, but your newfound daughter, something about her eyes aren't natural at all. Polly, at the end of our intention rounds, you pull Zippy down. You do not succeed in interposing yourself. You just succeed in pulling her body onto yours. And a sharp pang washes across you. You feel a fresh well of blood on your chest and the weight of Zippy on you. Zippy looks to you as both of you lie to the ground.
I'm fine.
She doesn't say anything. She's staring at you, but she doesn't seem to see you. There's a trickle of blood running down from her nose and her ears. She's bleeding.
Zippy? Hey, can you hear me? I look past her to the group and I say, "What's wrong with her? What's happening?"
Tell her to put the gun down, Polly.
She can't hear me.
I step forward towards Adelaide. That's enough. That's enough. You've done enough. You've made your point. You've taught them the lesson.
Zippy drops the gun. Adelaide curls herself back into the leg of Sister Hook. Zippy sees you. Her eyes focus back on you. She starts screaming and rolls into a ball, crying right next to you.
I just try to put my arms over her and just go, "It's okay."
What the hell was that? What was that?
Look,
What was that?
That was something that the shepherds can do. Adelaide, can you step forward, please? I want to introduce you to my friends.
This child walks into the light and hooks her little hand into Lampwick's. Shyly, she peers out from the hair that falls across her face and her eyes, but you can see her eyes as she looks to each of you.
This is Adelaide. This is the daughter that the shepherds have given me. The daughter that they've given me for the one that was taken from me years ago.
Oh my God.
There's a lot to talk about. I keep trying to say that, but no one's giving me a moment to explain, and I want to explain. Adelaide, thank you. You can go back to Sister Hook. Go back to Sister Hook. I can take it from here.
I won't let anything hurt you, Daddy.
I know, Adelaide. I know. And these are my friends, and I don't want them to get hurt either. They're lost, some of them. Not all of them, but some of them. But
The child turns and walks away, back to Sister Hook.
Rowan will kind of set her gun down on the ground and just kind of like look at Lampwick and look at the kid and look back at Lampwick and go, all right, well, shit, I'll bite. What the hell happened?
I need to... Sister Hook, watch over Adelaide while I talk to my friends, and then I'll come back and join you. And I'm going to approach... I'm going to try to find, like... Is this a corridor? Is this room? What are the dimensions of the room that we're in?
The room that you're in is a tunnel. It is a passageway within a stadium. If you've ever been in a sports arena, you know that they have many passageways that are made from concrete. To one side, there is an open area that leads out into what looks like it might have been the stadium, but there are boards and other things, bits of metal, that have been placed to create a makeshift wall. There are dead bodies, desiccated corpses from many, many years ago that have been stacked here. Like cordwood, they pile up on either side of this tunnel. The concrete has faded paintings across it. You recognize some of them, Lampwick, as mascots and emblems from the Pittsburgh Pirates. There are piles of debris, exposed rebarb, broken concrete. But all of this seems to be leading through. There is a set of double doors to one side, the same double doors that this group seems to have come through. And in the passage that you've traveled down, it is a circular pathway.
Lampwick steps forward and looks down and sees, and it dawns on him that we're really kind of, it feels like it's kind of trapped. And I approach Achira.
What the fuck? What the fuck, Lampwick? What the fuck? You saw what it did.
I did.
And you're okay with it.
Right. No, I am not. I'm not okay with any of that. I understand why. I understand why she did that. She was trying to protect me. And I'm trying to protect you. Achira, I'm gonna get something from my bag. I pull out the notebook. I pull out the tape. I pull out the file. I don't know how to make sense of all of this, Achira, but I hope that you can. And I know that you've questioned my alignment with the shepherds, but I promise you that one of the biggest reasons why I've joined them the way that I have is because I'm actually looking out for you all. And I'm looking out for you. And And
I don't know how to. You understand that I can't like compute this.
I do.
Right?
I understand that. I know.
Lampwick,
I do.
do you understand? You have a thing that is calling you father that just did some sort of.
I grab Achira's hand and I pull her down to the ground, and I just kind of huddle with you, and I grab your head and I touch you forehead to forehead, and I say, Achira, please. I don't know how much. Just let me talk. Just let me talk, please. Just let me talk.
What?
One moment, please. Pause your moment. This is very good. Rowan, what are you doing while this happens?
Rowan is kind of keeping a watch on everything. She is very confused, so she's looking back and forth between the wild ones, Achira and Lampwick freaking out, and the little creepy kid, just kind of trying to understand and process what's happening.
The creepy kid, as you put it, is wrapped into the robes of this woman that is standing there with wrinkled skin. They have both moved slightly forward, closer to the light. And you see Sister Hook's face, heavily wrinkled. Make a spot listen check. And while you do that, you look to the others. Polly, what are you doing? Zippy is inconsolable and terrified.
Is clutching on to Zippy with as much strength as I have left and absolutely staring daggers at Lampwick. If I hadn't seen the earrings on Achira, I would be screaming at her to stay away, but I don't know if I can trust her anymore either. So I say nothing as they huddle together. I think I reach for the gun that Zippy has dropped.
You have a gun in your hands now.
I'm not using it right now.
So be it. Lampwick, Achira. Oh, Rowan, that is 2 degrees of success. You have no doubt. Sister Hook is wearing the skin of someone else. Those aren't wrinkles. That is an ill-fitted form that she has taken. Human leather. A face that she has claimed, but does not own. Her eyes, underneath it all, are staring at you.
Rowan will just stare back and hold eye contact as long as she does.
So be it. Achira, Lampwick, you may continue.
So I'm forehead to forehead with Achira, and I'm just trying to calm her down. Just let me talk. Just let me get 60 seconds. I know they're dangerous, Achira. I know that it's questionable that that I'm walking among them the way that I am, but they are dangerous. And how else are you all going to learn what they can do if it isn't for me coming to you and telling you? They're not here to harm you right now, so long as people don't threaten us and don't threaten me. I'm giving you something that's invaluable. I don't know why they're after you, but I think the answers are in this. They're in this tape. This is a tape, a VHS tape. I need you to watch it. This notebook, I can't make sense out of what's in it in this file. I don't know. But I don't have much time, Achira. We've known this. And I'm barely holding on, and I'm holding on for you. I'm holding on for you, and I'm holding on for them.
Achira takes what Lampwick is holding out to her and puts that in her bag.
I want more than anything to get the fuck out of here with you all, but I don't know if I can. I don't know if it's safe. I don't know if they're able to do the stuff that they're doing right now. What do you think might happen to me if I defy them?
You can come away with us. right now. You could tell your daughter that you're going to the store for cigarettes or whatever. But
I can't. I won't.
Lampwick,
No,
they
I won't leave
always
her. I
mean
can't
harm.
leave her. Achira, I don't
They
have it in me to
always
leave
mean
her.
harm.
She
That's a
has
thing.
to come with me then.
That is a thing, Lampwick. Do you see what I almost shot that child for you?
I can't tell what that is anymore. I don't know.
Lampwick.
It's my daughter.
Oh my God, Lampwick.
That's my daughter.
That's not your daughter.
I know. But I feel like it is. And if I go with you, then I gotta take her. I'm not gonna leave her.
That thing's not coming with us. It couldn't. Lampwick. Remember, in Sullivan Town, that promise I made to you. That I would keep you as long as there was enough of you left in there. But when you do things like this,
I didn't do anything. I'm coming to you to
you're
help
with
you.
them. You're with them,
It's because
Lampwick.
they've been doing stuff to me and I can't control it. I can't.
Lampwick, they always mean harm.
I know.
They've been hunting me.
I know. I want to make it stop, but I can't. And I'm trying to help, but I can't.
They killed Arya, Lampwick. That, if anything else. And Achira's gonna take off her earring and like hold that out to Lampwick. They killed her.
They had me kill her. They had me do it. That's what you saw, right?
I saw you cut off her head.
It made me do it. She was already dead. There was no way she was going to make it out of there.
Take it back.
I've been trying to.
Take it back right now. Don't.
Sorry. I tried to save her. I did. A bunch of times. We wouldn't have fallen in that trap if it wasn't for that wild kid that lured us in. You know Rain? I remember their name. I would never forget it. It's the whole reason why I'm here.
You don't get to pin it on us.
I'm not pinning it. I'm taking responsibility for my part, but it looks like you're not ready to take responsibility for yours. You almost got your friend killed right there. Just now, and I stopped it. We've all made mistakes. Achira, Arya was already dead. There was no way out for her.
Don't. Oh God, don't. You.
There's a way out of this.
We didn't know. You did.
I didn't know. They gave me something, and I barely remember what I did until it was done. You don't know me, but you do, Achira. You know me better than anybody else. You know that if I could have helped it, if I knew there was a way out for us, you know I wouldn't. You know that's the last thing I would have done. You know me. I trust you more than myself right now, and if you think I'm too far gone now, then you know what you should do. I brought you what I needed to, I think. I'm gonna hand Achira my pistol. I won't be able to protect you at all if I'm gone, but I'll accept whatever it is that you feel like I deserve.
Achira is going to lower Lampwick's head and kiss him on the forehead as she stands up. And what if I had been with you, Lampwick? Who are you? What are you?
I'm your family.
Family would have told me before now.
I tried.
Family wouldn't have waited until you were ratted out.
I wasn't. I could have talked my way out of this, and you know it.
Don't you get chummy with me. Chiro looks at the pistol that Lampwick gave her, tucks it into her belt. With all the swiftness inside of her, shoots the child with her long gun.
I'd like for you to make a roll. No dice of difficulty. Despite your crumbling morale and composure, you are razor focused in this moment, Achira. The gun raises, and you pull the trigger.
I'm going to add 2 competency points to that.
Her small body jolts backwards. As the back of her head explodes, she drops to the ground, dead. And I'm going to spend 100 risk. The gunshot rings out, and something inside of you, Lampwick, screams out. I need you to make a composure check, Lampwick. You have 3 black dice of difficulty added to this roll. Rowan, I need you to give me your intention as well as all of this happens, and Polly, I need you to give me yours. Lampwick, you get no intention in this round, as you will be reacting depending on how this roll goes for you.
Are we in a location hazard now?
That depends on Lampwick. Rowan, what is your intention?
Rowan seeing this, I feel like at this point, she is waiting to see what goes down, because most of this is not really her problem. So if the opportunity presents itself for her to snag Achira's bag and run back to the Citadel, she probably will.
Let's have you make a stealth check. No dice of difficulty. But do give me a single blue die for the action. Polly, what is your intention?
As Achira shoots the child, I think Polly would go to shoot the person beside the child.
Go ahead and make your pistol shot. Now, I am sorry, due to your wounds, you're going to be rolling with a considerable disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
You have 3 black dice of difficulty. You're lying on the ground. You're going to need more than 1 success to make this work.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's probably not going to strike your target.
Now, I do have a training value bonus on pistol. How does that figure into my roll?
So with the training value bonus, it's going to be included in the roll itself. So when you click on your pistol skill,
Yep.
it's going to ask you those questions as you start to resolve it. Do add 1 single blue die, though, for your speed.
Absolutely.
I will say that due to the fact that you've held your actions up until now, I won't increase those dice. You're still able to act with a certain amount of swiftness. All right, Polly, you've only missed this by 1 degree of failure. Would you like to spend anything to correct that?
I would. I'd like to use my remaining 3 competency points. And I'm also going to take 1 from the communal.
So you've raised this to 3 degrees of success?
Mm-hmm.
So be it. I believe the communal pool is now drained. All right. Polly, it's a slow action. You've done this on a 9, so you will be acting last. Lampwick, you have 1 degree of success on your composure.
I'm okay with pumping in 2 competency points into that. Raise it if that helps.
It does help. But it doesn't stop what's going to happen. As Adelaide drops dead onto the ground, you feel a dark emptiness rise through you. Her small body wrapped against yours, echoes of not only Adelaide, but of the daughter you claimed at the beginning of this nightmare. Your mind reaches out into the darkness, to the fire in those circled vehicles, the RV as you rush towards it, breaking through the door, knowing what they've done, seeing her body. All of it flashes past you. That emptiness, that darkness, it takes form inside of you. You feel the hunger and the rising tide of the nightmare that now lives within you. You have control for now, but any who can see Lampwick sees an eruption of tentacles forcing their way out of his mouth.
Oh.
These pale, gray-purple tendrils with a wild life of their own lash forth from his mouth as he flings his head back. His eyes are dark and there are veins interworking his skin, which has become more pale. And it is as if there is a scream issuing forth, but it is silent. You hear nothing. The only thing is noticed by Rowan. That keening. You hear it for a moment and then it stops. Lampwick is holding on, and you are holding back, Lampwick. You don't know how long you can.
I turn to the group and I say, Achira.
Achira,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Lampwick. I'm sorry too. I'm sorry. I didn't have the strength to kill you.
Another gunshot. Sister Hook drops to the ground, Polly holding the revolver now.
Will you hunt me now, Lampwick? Will you hunt me? Because they do. Because if you do, I will have to hunt you. Because if you think this makes us even, I don't even know what this makes us, Lampwick. You lied to me for so long. You took the only bright thing that I'd found in 25 years of hell. You don't know what the Citadel put me through. You don't know what I had to go through before the Citadel, and Arya was everything. We have to go. We have to go now. Lampwick is fine. He's with his people. Achira takes her long gun and starts walking.
I will never hurt you, Achira.
I will never hurt you, Achira.
Again.
Again.
God.
And I turn and I watch them leave if they're leaving.
What do the rest of you do?
Alright. Rowan, who was stealthed, will, I guess, pop up and kind of nod at everybody and do the, like, let's get the hell out of here motion.
I will say you do have Achira's bag.
If Achira is coming with, Rowan will hand it back to Achira. And she will say, in case you didn't make it, we needed to know.
Achira takes it back.
Faith helps Zippy and then helps Polly up. Zippy is still inconsolable and muttering, however, able to walk. And Faith, as much as this hurts you, Polly, puts you into a fireman's carry and takes you forth with the others. Camilla pushes Zippy forward. As Lampwick lies on the ground, these tentacles continue to try to pull themselves forth from inside of him. He writhes back and forth. As they leave, I need Lampwick to make one last composure check.
Okay.
How many competency do you have remaining?
I have 2.
There is 1 in the communal pool.
Any difficulty dice?
1. It's 1 degree of failure.
I'll put my competency in that to make it 1 success, and if I need to, I'll take that communal.
1 is enough. You hold back. You're starting to black out. You're losing yourself, Lampwick. You have challenged the virus that works its way through your bloodstream. You have taken their sacraments. You have seen what they intend to do. You've seen the logic in it. But you've also seen the cruelty. You've compromised yourself, not only physically, but spiritually. You know now that no matter what happens, you're no longer like them. You're not dead, but you're not alive. You're something else.
Lampwick. Works his way over to whatever's left of his daughter. And picks her up. And starts walking with her in his arms in the opposite direction that his former companions had headed into.
As the rest of you leave, any that caution a glance over their shoulder, back down that concrete tunnel, the charnel pit of death. You see a silhouette in the firelight of the torch that Faith is carrying. Lampwick's hunched body, tentacles writhing from inside of his mouth, holding on to the broken, dead form of a small girl. To those of you leaving Lampwick, I need you to make spot listen checks as you begin moving down this corridor further back to where you know other pathways split off. You remember the bloody message scrawled across one of the walls that said, "The only way out is up." Gates have been closed. And then opened again.
Am I adding any difficulty to this?
No difficulty. Not for a spot listen, not in this moment. Everyone has passed with at least one degree of success, and despite your wounds, Polly, and being told by Faith, you hear it too. Somewhere outside, through the concrete, above you. The sound of a helicopter. Polly, you have never heard anything like it. It sounds like a great beast. Some sort of machine whirling through the air. Achira, and certainly Rowan. You know the sound. Rowan, you know the sound better than the others, because though it is very rarely used, there's one bird that the Citadel keeps in the sky.
Holy shit.
What is that?
It's a helicopter, Polly.
It's our helicopter. We got a rescue team here.
You probably haven't gotten around to movies like Top Gun, but it's like a plane, but it doesn't go as fast and it carries people in it. It sounds like the Citadel's here.
We don't live in fantasies, you know.
What?
We live here with you.
I didn't say that to it's not your fault what we've left behind for all of you to follow. It wasn't as happy and easy good times and moving on up as the VHSs say. The world wasn't really like that at all. That was our idealized version of it. I'm sorry I said that. But it's just too many of you have died.
A lot of you too.
Too many of all of us.
Faith speaks up. Yeah, well, I don't intend to be one of them. Let's find a way to get to this helicopter. Get out of here.
Yeah. Rowan, you taking point? Let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. But before Rowan does that, while they were all talking, I feel like she would have walked over to Camilla for a moment.
All right. Camilla takes a slow step back, but then stops and meets eyes with you. Yeah.
Bring her in real close. You know, you don't have to go back. If once we get out of there, you fake an injury down here, you make way out a little later. I know you don't want to go back.
If he tries to make me, I'm gonna kill him myself.
All right. If you need anything, you let me know. I'll cover you. Maybe not for that, but definitely for the escaping part, if that's what you choose.
I'm sure as hell not staying here. I can take care of myself, but thank you. I've been through a lot. She looks down at her arm, where it was amputated.
Speaking of that, are you sure that you don't want to come back with us to the Citadel at this point? Now, before when I left you out there, you had both your arms. I'm a little worried about you now.
She grabs a roll of duct tape that she had behind her back, takes the Citadel sword, places it onto the ground, and places the stump of her arm next to it, and tapes the sword to that stump, and wraps the tape over and over again, not breaking eye contact with you, and then bites it off. That answer your question?
That is truly fucking terrifying, and I love it. That's a very good look.
In her other hand, she has the gun. Everyone is gathered together. And that, thanks to our friends in the ether, is where I get to reveal our little game. All of the gates open. You hear metal moving throughout the facility. There's a rumble. All around you, in the corridor, from stairwells, every hallway, silhouettes appear in the torchlight. The dead gather, and they are no longer quiet. Something has them enraged. Their heads are tilted at odd angles, their bodies move like broken dolls across the darkness. And as those silhouettes appear to all of you, there's a moment where they stop, sense you, and start running. Lampwick, you don't remember much. Stumbling through dark corridors, carrying her. You're not where you were. You don't see the others. In fact, the last thing you remember is Achira and her words. She didn't forgive you, but she didn't kill you either. She's left you to languish here in this hell with this thing that you've become. You're in the darkness and you're holding her. The back of her skull is gone, but her face is only marred with a single point of darkness and a little blood that trickles across her forehead. She's so peaceful looking. She's staring blankly at you, and you know there is no life in those eyes. And something inside of you tells you, somehow you know, that while these permutations of life that get created through the shepherd's gifts are varied, allowing some to survive horrid, unbelievable wounds, there's something inside of you that knows that she's gone. Whatever gifts she had, this feels like the end for her. Logic is slipping. Your memories are faltering. You find yourself reminiscing as you stand there in the darkness. And then you feel a hand on your shoulder. Brother Lampwick?
Yes.
Grieve. Mourn. But remember, our God is fury and wrath. Sister Hook stands behind you. Her skin draped around her neck. You see her true face. As these tentacles continue to lunge and roll forth from your mouth, she places her hands on either side of your head and raises it up so that the two of you meet eye to eye. You see tears welling, working their way down her skinless face into the viscera and gore that has become who she is. Twisted and human, and yet she cries for your loss.
I take her hand. And I squeeze it. And then I let it go. And I say to her, wrath is a sin, is it not?
We are all sin. You and I are sin. We are sin embodied, given form. Our God gives us gifts, guides us as the prophet has shown. As the prophet has shown throughout the ages, we forgive us indeed, and embody our sin to do his great work.
My pistol is gone. But I have a sword.
You do.
I take it out and I stab her in the head.
I don't think a roll is necessary here. The blade pierces through the top of her skull as her eyes, filled with tears, lock upon yours. There is a moment of surprise. And then the emotion leaves her. Sister Hook drops dead at your feet.
I catch her. I have my daughter in one arm, and I imagine her body, as deteriorated as it is, Sister Hook's is easy to catch with my other one. And I lay her down gently, and I whisper over and over again, "Mercy, mercy, mercy."
And that is where we'll end our story tonight.